investigation. This started out like thousands and thousands and thousands of disturbance calls that occur between families. We received a call from a sister that she was having trouble with her brother, who was 28 years of age. Upon our arrival, where she and children were located, which was away from the home, she said, "Hey, he's out of control. He battered me. He snatched my cell phone from me. He broke the face of the cell phone, and he's out of control. And I think he's called a friend to come get him, and he's trying to get away." So obviously we have a battery, we have a robbery by sudden snatching, we have criminal mischiefs, and we have a disturbance. This is not unusual. The outcome last night was unusual. So we went to Yoel Santel's residence. He was living there with his sister. The reason he was living there with his sister was out of the generosity of her heart, because he was just released from the Florida State Prison on May the 6th of this year. That's right. He had done approximately 5 years in state prison, 5.5 years, for violation of probation on charges. He's collected a total of 12 felony charges, 3 misdemeanor charges that were everything from burglary, theft, methamphetamine, illegal drugs, and obviously he had several violations of probation and ultimately went to jail. So Yoel was there creating a problem. When deputies arrived, they began a dialogue with him, and he was obviously out of control, had anger management issues. The deputies that were there are extremely experienced. The deputy that was talking with him, Sarah Taylor, has 10 years of experience. The Sergeant Josh Anderson has 15 years of experience. And the lieutenant that was on scene has 20 years of experience. So now we have, 40, 30, 45 years of law enforcement experience dealing with this person. All 3 of them are crisis intervention trained, CIT trained. So we have very experienced deputies that are trying to communicate with him. And during this communication, he would not show his right hand. He kind of stood in the door frame of the house, and this communication went on for 47 minutes. For 47 minutes, they tried to reason with him. They tried to de-escalate. At one point in time, they had positioned themselves close enough that they tried to reach in and grab him. But he fell back away from them, and then he picked up a machete. He picked up the machete and he retreated to the bathroom. Now, when he's standing in the bathroom door, he's telling them, "Can you smell the gasoline? I've poured gasoline all over the house." And he's holding a red lighter in his hand. The deputies smell gasoline. And during this time, he's also got the machete in his hand, and he's running it up and down the face, or the door of the bathroom. And he's talked about the gasoline. He's poured all over the house. He's got the machete. They're trying to talk to him. The deputy puts up her taser. She has her taser out, because the last thing you want to do is arc the taser and set the house on fire. So as they progress with the communication and doing everything they can to de-escalate, they say, "Well, the taser's out. We'll put a can of clear out and clear out as a chemical agent, and it's aerosol based and it's not inflammatory, we'll put that in the bathroom and see if we can get him out. So they throw a can in. Has no effect. So they throw another can in the bathroom, and he reaches down and he throws the can back at them. At that moment in time, a fourth deputy reaches down to pick up the can of chemical agent, and Yoel charges out of the bathroom with the machete over his head, directly toward the three deputies who have done everything that they can to safely take him into custody. When they were within approximately 4 feet of him, because this is a very small room, very small house, it's that quick. They saw that, hey, this guy's coming at us, he's right on top of us. They shot. They shot 6 times apiece, and he fell immediately to the floor. So they drag him out of the house, which once again is very small. This room's not near as big as the room we're in today. They drag him out into the fresh air. They start applying pressure bandages to his wounds and CPR and call for help. He's deceased. He's deceased because of his bad choice. What we didn't know at the time, that we've learned about, is that in 2013 and 2014 he was Baker acted for trying to cut his wrist. What we know now that we didn't know, for 2 weeks he's been threatening his sister. He's had a water bottle filled with gasoline in his room, and he threatened to blow himself up. As he would fight, he had the anger management issues and get mad at his sister. 2 weeks ago, he also said he was going to kill himself by running at law enforcement with a machete. He said that law enforcement was here to get him, that he had worms in his body, and that he was not going to go. Ladies and gentlemen, so he has anger management issues. We have criminal charges against him. He's a threat to his family. They find it necessary to call us. We arrive. We try to de-escalate for 45 minutes and would be still trying to de-escalate if he didn't run at us with a machete. We also found online where he had looked up suicide by cop. As a result of his bad choice, as a result, he put 3 very experienced crisis intervention trained deputies in a position where they had to protect themselves or either have that run through them. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I send my deputies out to protect and to serve. We talk down hundreds and hundreds of people every year and keep them safe. But let's be abundantly clear. None of my deputies are going to stand by and let someone like that run a machete through them or hack them to pieces. That's not happening. We didn't make the choice to shoot Yoel Santel. He made the choice for us to shoot him. We did everything possible last night to avoid that outcome, but he forced the situation despite our best efforts from some of our absolute total senior deputies, 45 years worth of experience in just those three. And as it would be, which is our normal protocol, we try to get the most experienced people to the most serious calls, and that's why you had a sergeant and a lieutenant on the front line trying to work this situation through with the assistance by assisting the two deputies that responded. Are there any questions?
So, 6 shots apiece, total?
Total of 18.
Total of 18 for 3
6 shots apiece.
You say you looked up suicide by, is that online or?
Online. And quite frankly, you all know what we know at this stage of the investigation. We are the best trained people in a crisis, not a mental health counselor who's used to a more clinical setting. There's this illusion that if we just had a mental health counselor, well, if mental health counselors just worked, we wouldn't be in the situations that we're placed in. 100% of my deputies that go on the road with all of their other training are certified crisis intervention specialists through state-of-the-art programs. We had the best people on scene to work through that. So we don't need to create the illusion that mental health counselors can show up with some kind of pixie dust and make things well. If they could, we'd bring a trailer full of that pixie dust with us every place we went. That's not reality, it's an illusion. Do we need to do more with mental health? Absolutely. And I and our folks are on teams that are leading that charge in this county. But the reality of it is, when they have anger management issues, when they're out of control, and when they want to commit suicide, you're going to commit suicide. We happen to be that vehicle this time.
It sounds like you guys got exhausted all alternatives.
We did everything we could. And these deputies put themselves at extreme risk because he had a lighter, they smelled gasoline, and they still went in the house to try to get him out safely, despite his ability to flash the possibility, I won't say probability, because I don't know how much gas, I don't know. But they put themselves at extreme risk by going into that house with the odor of gasoline and him holding a lighter, a red lighter. The lieutenant described it. It's a red lighter in his hand to try to safely take him into custody.
What happens with the officers now? What kind of toll does it take on them to sit there and have to put 16 bullets into a guy that they know is probably mentally ill?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, they are put on administrative leave until we complete the initial investigation. In addition to our investigation through the shooting investigation by our homicide team, we have an administrative investigation that occurs. In addition to that, the state attorney is called to the scene, and they were there last night. They do a separate investigation. In addition to that, the medical examiner does a 4th investigation. And before they go back to work, they will go see our contract mental health specialist, our psychiatrist, where they will be debriefed and they will also receive follow-up assistance. Let me make this abundantly clear that all rational people know law enforcement officers don't wake up to go to work today and go, I might get to shoot somebody today. I suggest to you the overwhelming majority of them get up, say their prayers, and pray that they don't have to hurt anybody today in order to protect this society. And it's an emotional drain on them, especially when they've invested 45 minutes thinking they could get this guy under control, and they said it was abundantly clear that he was not going to allow himself to be taken, that it was his mission to get shot, and he carried out everything that he needed to in order to facilitate suicide by cop, to include charging and getting within approximately 4 feet of my deputies with that huge knife, that machete.
Besides, the inherent mental health issue, the press release mentions, glass pipe, methamphetamine, methamphetamine. Did the deputies mention that he might have appeared stoned, or was it a combination of things?
Well, once again, we found meth pipes in there, which is not unusual. So it's like the chicken and the egg. Did we have somebody who had significant mental health issues? He hasn't been Baker acted since 2014. Or did we have someone who was stoned on meth? Or did we have somebody that just had anger management issues and was mad at his sister and his family, and he decided to end it all? The investigation over the next few days will try to sort out which of those dynamics may have been the most prolific, but they were all in play. He was committing a criminal act. He was irrational. He had anger management issues. He had mental health issues. And he had drug issues. That's a cocktail for a very bad situation. And you must understand, we send our law enforcement officers into that environment every day, because we're not dealing with normal people like you and me. We're dealing with people who have a lot of baggage, whether it be mental health baggage, crime baggage, drug baggage, or all of the above, which he had. And we do our very best to peacefully resolve the situation. But my deputies are going to go home safe at night. And if you choose to have us shoot you, we'll do it. We don't want to. We'll try to avoid it. We'll talk to you for 47 minutes. We'll still be talking to you if you don't charge us with a machete. It's not going to hurt us. Any questions? Thank you very much. We'll update you if we learn anything new or different.